When you live alone with one parent for most of your life, you get used to silence. The kind of quiet where you can hear the refrigerator hum, where dinner is just 2 plates, where the TV stays on longer than it should because neither of you wants to be the first to say goodnight. That was my life with my dad after my mom died. It wasn't sad all the time, just small. Predictable. Fridays were pizza nights. Saturdays were cleaning and grocery runs. We didn't talk about feelings much, but we had our routines. Then one evening, he came home from work smiling, like really smiling. He said, "I met someone." Her name was Melissa, and from the first moment, I could tell she was the opposite of my mom. My mom had been quiet, sarcastic, and bookish. Melissa was loud, always polished, and could talk to anyone like she'd known them for years. When I met her, she hugged me before I could even say hello. She smelled like vanilla perfume and said, "You're even prettier than the pictures. We're going to be such good friends." She had a daughter, Ava 16F. Melissa said Ava was a little shy. Shy was not the word. Ava was icy. Polite when adults were around, silent when they weren't. She looked at me like she was taking notes. When they moved in, everything in our house changed. Melissa redecorated. My mom's old quilt disappeared from the couch. The kitchen suddenly had matching mugs, matching plates, matching aprons. Even the smell changed. Less laundry detergent, more perfume and candles. Dad kept saying, "We're a family now, Brooke." So I tried. I offered to help Ava with homework, showed her around the school, even gave her my favorite seat at lunch. She just said, "I'll sit somewhere else, thanks." Still, I figured she'd warm up. She didn't. Instead, she started copying me. It was almost funny at first. If I wore a plaid skirt, she'd wear a similar one the next day. If I joined the yearbook club, she showed up at the next meeting. If I made a TikTok in my room, she'd post the same audio an hour later. Then my friends started saying things like, "Whoa, you and Ava are twins now." Or worse, "She actually pulls it off better than you." She loved that. By winter break, the copying turned personal. She started repeating things I said to people, like inside jokes I had with my best friend, words I used with teachers, even the nickname I used for my dad, Pops. She started calling him Pops too. When I told my dad it was weird, he said, "She probably just looks up to you." When I told Melissa, she said, "That's so sweet, you're rubbing off on her already." I wanted to scream. Then one Monday morning, I walked into school and everyone went quiet. Like dead silent. I sat down at my desk and could feel people staring. By lunch, I found out why. Someone had posted screenshots of my Instagram DMs. Except they weren't mine. They were filled with mean comments about the cheerleaders, calling them airheads, fat tryhards. The messages were signed with my username, my profile photo, even my writing style. Everyone believed it. The principal called me in, asked if I knew what harassment meant. The cheer team stopped talking to me. My phone blew up with messages like, "Wow, didn't know you were that type of person." I ran home crying, showed my dad the screenshots. He sighed and said, "Brooke, people make mistakes. Just apologize and move on." I said I didn't write them, he frowned. Then who did? I didn't have proof, so he didn't believe me. And Ava was right there, sitting on the couch, pretending to do homework, smirking. That night, I couldn't stop thinking about it. I knew she'd done it. I just couldn't prove it. So I waited until she went to shower, then went into her room. I know it was wrong, but my reputation was destroyed and no one would help me. Her laptop was on her desk, screen still glowing. She was logged into my Instagram. Messages were open. She'd been replying to people as me. And on her private story, the one I'd never been allowed to follow, there was a photo of her wearing my hoodie with the caption, "She'll never know smiling face with horns." My whole body went cold. When she came out of the bathroom, towel in her hair, I held up her laptop. "You've been using my account," I said. She didn't even flinch. "Oh my God," she said, rolling her eyes. "It's just a joke." You'll get over it. I yelled. Like full volume, shaking, crying, yelled. My dad burst in. Ava immediately burst into tears, saying, "She broke into my room. She's been bullying me for weeks." Dad didn't ask questions. He grounded me for invading privacy. I tried to tell him she framed me, but he said, "I can't take sides between you two." Which, in his mind, meant siding with her. After that, she got bolder. Every time I walked past her, she'd whisper, "Careful what you post." She'd wear my clothes, laugh when I told her to stop, say, "They look better on me anyway." Even teachers stopped trusting me. I got kicked out of yearbook because the environment was tense. One night I overheard her talking on the phone to a friend, saying, "She's so easy to mess with. All I have to do is cry, and her dad flips out." That's when something in me snapped. I made a plan. I wrote a fake email and left it open on my laptop in the living room. It was to the principal and said, "Thank you for approving the new digital trace program. Once the IP address of the impersonation account is confirmed, I'll forward it directly to you." Then I went upstairs and waited. Around 10 p.m., I heard typing coming from her room, fast, panicked typing. I opened the router settings on my phone and watched the connected devices. Her laptop was logged into my account again. I took screenshots, time-stamped, labeled everything. The next morning, I went to the principal. I didn't even speak for the first 30 seconds. I just handed over the screenshots. She looked through them slowly and said, "Thank you, Brooke. We'll handle this." By third period, Ava got called out of class. By lunch, she was in the counselor's office crying. By the end of the day, she was suspended for impersonation and harassment. When the rumor spread, everyone knew the truth. People started apologizing to me in the hallway. The cheer team even invited me to sit with them again. For a brief moment, I felt free. Then I got home. Dad was sitting at the table. His face was hard, tight jaw, clenched hands. He said, "What did you do?" I explained everything, showed him the screenshots, the proof. He didn't look at them. He just said, "You could have come to me. Instead, you set her up." I said, "I did come to you. You ignored me." He slammed his hand on the table. "You humiliated her, Brooke. You embarrassed this family." Melissa came in crying, saying, "You didn't have to destroy her life." I said she destroyed mine first, but no one listened. Ava transferred schools after her suspension. Melissa still barely speaks to me. Dad's polite but distant, like he's talking to a stranger. He told me once quietly, "Two wrongs don't make a right." I told him, maybe not. But sometimes the second wrong is the only way to stop the first one. He didn't answer. Now the house is quiet again, but it's a different kind of quiet. Before it felt peaceful. Now it feels heavy, like everyone's walking on glass. Sometimes I catch Dad staring at the old photo of Mom on the mantel, and I wonder if he regrets everything. Sometimes I wonder if I do. Part of me feels bad. I didn't want to ruin Ava's life, just stop her from ruining mine. But another part of me knows, if I hadn't fought back, she would have kept going. So, am I wrong for getting my new stepsister kicked out of school after she impersonated me online and destroyed my reputation?